Hey everybody, I'm Josh.
And I'm Eitan.
Welcome back to the 11th episode of the Younger Half podcast. We are two 14-year boys from New Jersey who discuss, debate, and share insights in everything from history to politics, sports, and events, and more. Follow us on Instagram at the Younger Half. To see more of our podcasts, check us out on your favorite podcasting platform at the Younger Half. You can also check out our YouTube channel to see our faces during our podcast. Also, if you'd like to help grow the podcast by supporting us and committing to a monthly donation, head to anchor.fm/theyongerhalf/support or click on the link in the description. Let's get into it.
So before we get into it, just something to look out for. At the end of the episode is a special interview with Josh's sister about her fight and her battle with anxiety.
Yeah,
So let's get into it. Police were called after Jacob Blake was reportedly trying to break up a verbal altercation between two women. In a now viral video, Jacob Blake is seen walking towards his car with two officers following him and two officers in the background. And when Jacob Blake leans into his car, he is shot what is heard to be 7 times in the back at point blank range. And this led to protests left and right and really just outbreak. And it's
rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. What do you think about the video?
I mean, I'm even lost for words that we're still doing this.
I know. I don't know. I was almost in tears. Yeah.
That we're how many people is gonna take for us to
do something?
I don't understand. For us to open our eyes and to see what is happening. I don't understand how many lives will it take for us to open our eyes and to see what is happening? I'm outraged.
I know, it's disgusting. It's sickening. Every notification that I get, another black man murdered. Another person hurt by police. It's crazy. I don't know. It's
more inequality.
Yeah, it's crazy. And in the video, people are speculating that he was armed or something, but it was the officers didn't confirm any of that. And based on the video, he bent into his car. They have 2 officers who are trained in tackling and everything. It just seems a simple way out, as in all of them. Take his knee off your neck. It's so simple. Pull him back. Don't shoot him 7 times, or don't keep your knee on his neck for 8 minutes,
Yeah, I 100% agree. I just don't I don't even know what to say.
I know, I'm lost for words. It's
like I just said before, I don't understand how we're still doing this. I don't understand how it's possible that we don't learn. I don't understand. I mean, I guess the thing is that these people who are doing this, right? So Derek Chauvin, everyone else, all the other people, they don't want to learn. They're racist people. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at, but I don't know.
I know, it's so hard to put your it's so hard to just imagine, how this could happen so many times. And I obviously I don't have to imagine because it is, but just so, as we said this so many times in our episode, at least I have, mind-boggling. That's the word when we talk about these issues.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't know, Josh. It's upsetting.
I mean, I hear you. I hear that. I mean, black people would more, but they're tired of it. They would know better because we don't hear about the things that happen every day, right?
Yeah, we don't hear about things happening off camera. Sorry to cut you off, but we don't hear about things coming off being off camera,
Yeah, or you don't hear about, what I mean by this is that you don't hear about the minor things, right? So you don't hear about the person being stopped because they're black.
Or even a small thing like the officer kicked him because he was black, when he was arresting him instead of just arresting him. A small thing.
That's more, that happens so much more often than we than than um than
We
people who
expect.
don't experience it know.
Right, like the people that don't get a million views on the video, the
Correct.
people who and like people go to work every day and they're being racially profiled, and
Not just that. I mean, yeah, definitely
yeah,
racially profiled. It's everything. You know,
it's
every uh, like everything else also. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's I'm not black. I don't know how it feels
Yeah,
to
I
be
that
racially
that's
profiled,
yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. That's what I
that's
was
the
getting at
hardest
in the
thing, I
beginning.
think.
Right, right. Is because that's what I was saying in the beginning of how we don't hear about the minor things. Right? So yeah, like all these shootings are unbelievable, terrible, but also those like
The little things.
imagine just walking down the street and getting stopped because of your color. I don't that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Imagine. I don't know how it feels.
Right. It's yeah, it's so hard to like just think about that, like it seems so inhumane. I think
Right.
that's the word. Something like that to happen. And we've been through, like we've been through slavery, we've been through civil rights, we've been through all these scenarios and all these terrible things that happened, and we still haven't fixed then there's still racism in this country.
Right. Yeah,
And
like that's what I keep on saying is like how many more?
I know. And it doesn't make sense. People, and like the first thing, I just find this even more disgusting, that the first thing people are doing is like it's okay that he shot him because they're rioting. Like they don't even like they're like trying to ignore the fact that he was shot 7 times at the back. They're saying, oh, they're burning down buildings, or they're being destructive.
I mean, he wasn't though.
Not
Jacob.
him. I'm saying like the people's focus have been turned onto these rioters and the people who are not peacefully protesting.
Yeah.
It's trying to take it's upsetting because it's taking away from like the real issues here.
Right. I hear what you're saying.
I just feel you keep saying this, how many more, how many more does it
Right.
take to for something to be done,
To
something
have
to change?
change.
Uh-huh.
And that's what all these like protests are about. You know what I'm saying?
It just people have to care more.
That's yeah, that I think might be another problem, especially coming from this I could know better. As a white person is being more educated on
That's a key
or
thing.
yeah or bringing more awareness to a lot of the white community. No, I'm not that's a very general statement. I'm not saying every single white person doesn't know, you know what I'm saying, but
Right.
more awareness and more like caring.
Exactly. We need to be taught like how, not like, I don't even know if like how it feels, just like what they go through, what black people go through, and what people who look different and who are from a different religion or color
Yeah,
or race.
100%.
It's that's the key thing. We'll talk about this later in the interview, but like it's knowing, everyone has to be like more knowledgeable on everything. You just
Correct.
have to be more knowledgeable.
That I think, not to go way off topic, but is actually a little some of the problem with tell me if you agree or disagree with me, but with like some of the school systems, there's a lot of times they don't teach it how it is because it's a touchy subject from my experiences. What do you think
Right.
about that?
No, I agree with that. And I think that's not just school, that's everything. When people are behind the mic, even on a podcast, people are like, oh, they don't want to talk about this subject because they might like come
Right.
off as racist, or they might
Right.
come off as like a little this, a little that.
Not even
So
racist. I mean,
just,
if they're coming off racist, then
well, yeah,
they
right.
should get out of here. But but more controversial, I think, is
Right.
more
Yeah,
or touchy.
that's a
Touchy
better
is the
word.
best way. Is the best.
Right. Yeah, that's a better word. But it just things have to be said. Like
Yeah, I
people have to been
agree.
like, you know, they
Correct.
have to be told.
100%. Um. So on to the next topic.
All
This one I don't like even understand. This one doesn't make sense to me. Um. So second. Sorry. So I'm quoting from a Fox News article. This is a quote. George Floyd died from pre-existing health problems made worse by drug abuse. A fired police officer's defense attorney argued last week in court documents seeking a dismissal of charges. End of quote. That is and I'll this is start of another quote. Is the lawyer represents former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, who was seen in a viral video with his knee on George Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes prior to Floyd's May 25th death. End of quote. I mean, what?
What?
That's all I have to say. That is what? George Floyd died from a pre-existing health problem made worse by drug abuse? Huh?
Yeah, so
What?
yeah, if he didn't have drugs or pre-existing conditions, he would have survived 8 minutes of pressure on his neck.
That doesn't make it justified, though. That doesn't make
Eh,
it justified for him to put his knee on his neck for that long.
Yeah, and even if George Floyd survived, it's the act. It's the act of I'm powerful. I'm more powerful than you. I can hold you down. I can put my knee on your neck for 8 minutes. I can do this.
Right.
And just the act of it is disgusting.
Right. It's not the fact that.
He
Right.
died.
Yeah. I mean, of course, that's horrible and like, you know.
Oh yeah.
But like, I'm confused. What? What they want? This is the other thing that makes me mad right here. Is the thing that they want is charges dismissed. Huh?
It doesn't make sense. Like, does he not understand what he did?
Right. Right. That
He's acting like he just ate ice cream and walked away. He's clean, he didn't do anything.
right.
It's
That's
he,
why I think is one of the worst jobs. I was actually talking about this with my friend. We were going out to a restaurant and we were saying about because I was talking about this originally with my father. So I said to my friend, like one of in my opinion would be one of the worst jobs is a defense attorney. Because like this defense attorney
this
is
poor guy.
yeah is defending a racist murderer.
Right, and that's that comes with the job. You have to defend these people, and it just I don't know. I agree with you. It probably is it's a hard job, especially when something like this. It's not like an eyewitness said. There's a video, seen by hundreds of thousands, millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
It's just clean. It's like they wrote out everything on a big piece
Yeah,
of
it'd be
paper.
it'd be different it'd be different if he pleaded guilty.
Right.
Like he
Yeah,
takes
he
his
has to own
charges
up.
like a man, and he's like, "Yep, I handled the situation wrong," or "Yeah, like I'm racist," or he doesn't need to say that because he would never say that. But like, stop being a coward. You
Right, and it's so it makes me mad. It's
right,
disgusting that he's not accepting what he did is wrong. All I don't know if anyone else, but all I really want is him to say I did this wrong. Like I messed up. I just think that, and he obviously should be punished for it. Just like I think it upsets me seeing that hearing the quote and seeing he wants the charges to be
right.
dismissed.
It's good. Like it like makes me happy. Like yeah, that
It's never gonna happen.
prosecutors well yeah, but prosecutors are seeking longer sentences for Chauvin and the other officers that were fired.
Right, and I hope they do.
They're like you want charges dropped. Well, here comes some longer sentences.
It's like
You know what I'm
I
saying?
can undo that and make it longer, right?
Right. It's like, oh, so you want them dismissed? All right. 500 years, please.
Yeah, but joking aside, it's really it's disgusting.
Right. Like, I don't even. Like, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't make
Claiming,
sense.
like, let's say that is true. Let's say that he had health problems that caused his lungs to not have the right amount of air capacity, or whatever it is. I could be saying that complete medical terms incorrectly, but I'm not educated enough to say them
Right.
correctly. So, but let's say that is true, right? That doesn't, like, let's say it made it, like I just said, that he doesn't have enough capacity to breathe like that much. That doesn't make it justified for him to sit on someone's neck and murder him.
Exactly. And let's say his a lung. I'm not a doctor either, but
Right.
let's say his lung capacity was smaller, but he could still walk around and breathe, and he could live to 120 or whatever, 100. But just because his air, like his whatever, his pathways are smaller or whatever,
Yeah,
doesn't
however it
mean
works.
he can't survive a regular day.
Right.
No, like even someone with the perfect air, whatever, lungs or whatever, I don't even think they could survive someone putting it like choking them for 8 minutes.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a lung doctor or whatever, but just
Like, what?
uh,
I don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, just like based on knowledge, like I don't think anyone could survive that,
Right.
or without like being like paralyzed or something.
Right. Right.
It's not good. So on to the next topic, 2020 elections. Oh,
Good old
that's
mail-in ballots.
yes, like 60 days.
Yeah,
That's
I think
soon,
it's less.
Less, it's soon.
Let's see.
Let's
Yeah,
do some research.
it's a good
uh,
mid-episode research.
yeah, it's like November. Yeah, it should be like 60, 50 days. And I don't know if you have the exact number of days, but getting into our next
Yeah,
topic.
64 days. Yeah,
Right. So,
there's a countdown on the line. 64 days, 3 hours, 38 minutes, and 33 seconds.
that's great. This is a little off topic, but I was at the store before and they sell like funky stuff and it had like a picture of like Trump and it said like days till he's gone and it had
Uh,
like a countdown to the election. It was
that's
funny.
pretty funny.
I
That's
didn't buy
good.
it. I didn't buy it, but I should have.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Joking. But yeah. So mail-in ballots were reported by the Washington Post was that they more than 500,000 ballots were rejected. So
During the primaries.
right during the primaries, and this has been one of the strongest arguments from people who are opposed of the voting by mail, is that they believe, and it's kind of been proven here, that these ballots could be sent to people who are dead or moved to a different state, and like they don't live in that address anymore. It's an old address, and that's been a big concern, and just seeing that 500,000 ballots were rejected shows that they people are trying to, like, well, not legally vote.
My question is, what is the alternative?
Right. Well,
Yeah,
they
other than mail-in ballots.
socially distance with
That's
masks
going to
and
be so
gloves.
unmotivating. You want a limited capacity 4-hour line to vote? No one's doing that.
Exactly. And the people who normally run these polling booths, I don't know if you go, I go with my dad every 4 years. Well,
Right.
last election, and they're elderly people, they're like, I'm not guessing their age, but they're like 60 plus or whatever, and they could be immune compromised, and even elderly or susceptible to the
Right.
disease. So it's like we need more young people to volunteer, which is not happening. So
But
the
that's
only
not,
option.
sorry to cut
What?
you off. Sorry to cut you off, but I feel like that wouldn't be the main problem. The problem would be you're spreading the virus, no?
Right. No, but I'm saying the more people means more staff, and they're having less staff,
Right,
as
right.
it is. But yeah, I think voting by mail, it's gonna be okay, because if we all submit it like a little bit early, is that they're going through everything. They're validating every mail-in ballot. There's a human sitting there opening I don't know if they have computers, but I'm pretty sure it's a human like sitting there going through every ballot and counting it. So I think that like adds an extra layer of protection. But also the main concern, I don't know how to don't work with elections, but I don't know how this can be solved um is that sorry. Um
happens to everyone, Nathan. Nobody happens to me all the time. Actually, I'll be just
yeah.
in mid thought and like quickly something else come up, like, oh, like look at that light over there, or and then like, oh wait, what?
I forgot what I was gonna say, but a lot of things is that the mail-in ballots, oh here it is, that people submit it after like let's say they submit it like 3 days before the election, and it gets there 2 days after the results are all in, and their vote isn't counted. So, and especially with I don't know, the House just passed it, um the
USPS more
bill for the
funding.
US. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I hope the Senate passes it, but it's like a whole process. It needs to go to the USPS, who needs more funding, so more
that's. I
funding needs
think
to be
that
approved.
might be the problem, though. I think there's like something I could like. This is like my. I don't have this confirmed. This is just something I've heard before. Isn't it like need to be like on a certain date that like you need to send it in or something like that? Like you need to send it in on November 3rd or something like that, or no? My
I don't know, but people are saying that you should. Like I was listening to I think it's the news, but that they said that the best way to make your vote count, excuse me, the best way to make your vote count is having to like vote in at least like 2 weeks in advance, like get like early voting, just so you can like guarantee it getting there. But I don't know how it's gonna be done. It's that means like over 100 million, maybe 200 million Americans are voting by mail, so it's gonna be hard.
right, right. It's a very big problem because, like you just said, like I don't know. I'm very curious to what they're gonna do
Yeah,
because like you said, people are gonna and then what's gonna happen is, sorry, I'm not being clear, but like you said before, like people's mail is gonna get there post, you know what I'm saying, post
election
the election is
results. Yeah.
counted, right, results. So then people are gonna be like, oh well, my all these people's votes weren't counted. Up, redo the election, or oh no, you
It's
can't
gonna
do
be
that.
like
You can't
Israel.
you can't count you can't count this without like all these million votes. You know what I'm saying? And it's true, it rightfully so. You can't decide an election without a million votes.
No, yeah,
Or
I agree.
I'm making that number up, but
Oh, yeah. But still, it's and the big thing is that like it's gonna go down mail-in ballots. That's like pretty much decided, unless I don't think there's gonna be another way. And then Trump's gonna say like if they don't have the results in on like November 3rd, Trump's gonna see like told you it's all fraud. Like everything's gonna come in late, fraud, fraud. I'm still the president, whatever.
right.
And I think the election's gonna be delayed. I
What would
just
that
don't
do?
mean that the results will be announced November 23rd instead of November 3rd, because they have to like wait until like all the things come in.
Oh, until they're all confirmed in.
Like I don't see how they're gonna make sure every ballot is counted like before November 3rd if people are sending in
Right.
like November 1st or
Right.
August,
So
whatever
either
October.
either you have two options there. Either you're sending in your ballots earlier, or you're putting the election later. But I'm under the impression that I think the House and the Senate need to pass. It needs to go through the House and the Senate for them to change the election. Because wasn't that the whole thing with Trump that he said he wanted to delay the election or something?
Yeah, he said that.
So that's my point. And then it was
Right.
because like only that and
Then
Chuck Schumer,
Congress needs to
yeah,
approve it.
Schumer, I'm pretty sure responded like saying like only like we could do that or something like that.
Right, and it's true. So I really, it's interesting, how it's gonna play out, right?
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
It's an interesting thing because it's a very big problem, but it's yeah.
Right.
So another thing happening in sports is that a lot of sports teams were boycotting. So actually, the entire NBA stopped for a bit, boycotting
during the
the
playoffs.
right boycotting. Yeah, during the playoffs, boycotting like because of the Jacob Blake shooting. Um, it's interesting. What do you think about that, Ethan?
Right. So a couple things. First, I think it was powerful that they did that, and it's another thing that like telling people like if you can't like if you're like still sitting on your couch and watching the NBA and you're not like trying to help, like then we're not playing for you,
Right,
you
like
know?
they're all saying that like there are bigger things. There are bigger things sometimes than basketball, which is a powerful message.
Right. And I saw a couple things like LeBron James posted that he was upset because a lot of I think it was Sports Center and ESPN, they all said like, oh, the games were postponed, you know?
Right,
Um,
right, right. Yeah, I mean it's interesting because like I feel like I don't know what to think because like you said, it's a very powerful thing, you know. But like
I want to see my baseball.
not that power is the word that you used. Like, could my father say there are more important things than coming to work today, boss?
Right, but I think they're being watched by like whatever like a lot of people and just
You're saying
it's another
right.
way.
You're saying
Sorry.
because that they have that much power, they should be.
Right, and they're using their like their base to you know to to show what's happening. They're now it became a big thing because for like the first time in a long time all sports were boycotted, and now people are like, oh, what's happening, and then they like research more. It's just trying to put like shine some light.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the MLB still had some games. I think.
Right. So yeah, and the Mets came out for 42 seconds for Jackie Robinson's number, and then like stopped. That was last
Yeah,
week.
that game was canceled.
Yeah, that game was
I was watching
canceled.
it when it
So
happened. Actually.
really, yeah, of
Yeah.
course you were your beloved Mets.
Yes. My Mets
But yeah,
not doing so good. Edwin Diaz just blew another game today. As
really,
per usual.
they were beating the Yankees though yesterday.
My
Well, this
point.
is a week ago, but
Yeah, today. Like it was like 3 hours ago or something like that. I think they're actually playing right now. Um,
hey,
yeah,
serious.
yeah, they had a doubleheader against the Yankees. They were beating the Yankees actually. They're doing which is unlike them. Um, and Edwin Diaz blew it. It was they were up I think like seven something. Like I think they're up like I don't even know. But
Whatever. Yeah.
Diaz gave up like 5 runs or whatever it was, per usual. Their bullpen. That's the problem with them is their bullpen is not. They just lost Matz and Steven Matz is one of their starting pitchers and Dylan Betances, their reliever.
Right.
So now all the guys like Lugo and Diaz in the bullpen. So
All right. Yeah.
now on to a special guest interview with my sister. So hi Rachel, thank you so much for coming on to our podcast. Rachel has suffered from anxiety for how long now?
Like 3 years.
We will be interviewing Rachel for this week's episode regarding her experience with anxiety and a little about how society is affected by anxiety. So now on to the interview. So Rachel, start by describing your experience with anxiety. You have some stories where the times where it really got in the way of your life.
Okay. So the first time we were like, okay, like we should get this taken care of is I was in Vermont with two of my friends, and I was always nervous about going away for like the weekends because like being away from my parents for so long. And so we had gone to Vermont.
Sorry to cut you off. What grade is this again?
I was going into ninth.
Okay, and
ninth
she's
grade, and I'm going into 11th grade now.
Yeah.
So Where was I? Oh yeah, okay. So we had gone to Vermont, everything was fine. Okay, so we had gotten there and everything was fine, but then once we had to start going to sleep, well, first the room was really hot, and I can't sleep like when rooms are very hot. Like, I don't know, I just can't. So I already was like nervous. It was also really like we were up in like the like up country sort of, so it was like silent outside. It was so quiet.
Like upstate.
Yeah, and I can't sleep in quiet. I need background noise. I need it to be cold.
Very specific situation.
Yeah, and it was silent and hot. So not very good situation. And like the service was really bad, so I couldn't call my mom. So I got really anxious. I had like the worst panic attack of my life. And like I was literally for like an hour and a half. It was so bad. I couldn't call my mom. My friends were like not being helpful. They were like getting mad at me and they were like half asleep. So yeah, so when I got back from that trip, my mom was like, "Okay, we should find a therapist for you." And yeah.
Can you describe a little like what the panic, like what is similar, like how do I phrase this? Like what is a panic attack kind of?
A panic
Because
attack.
I actually don't really know.
Okay. Should I tell you like what happens?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, okay. So then all of ninth grade, basically, I would like have panic attacks randomly, like in school. And I would start to like know, like it starts off where I'd be like writing notes and like my hand would start to shake and I'd be like, why am I shaking? And then like my heart would start to race and like I'd be out of breath and I'm like, and I'm shaking and I'm like, what is going on? Because like normally a panic attack is you don't, at least for me, I don't have like anxious thoughts. It's just like all of a sudden I'm sitting in class and I'm totally fine. And I was just like, so then next, like I feel like a cry in my throat and then like I run out and I call one of my parents and it's like, I can't breathe.
Right.
I'm like shaking. I can't catch my breath. I'm not thinking clearly. A great way that my therapist describes it is that it's like you feel like you're drowning and like no one's helping you. So like you're so desperate and you're like when I'm in school, I'm like, I need to get out, like pick me up, like I have to get out. And, like you feel like no one's helping you.
Yeah, and there'd be times that I remember sometimes you like wouldn't go to school, right?
Well that was once. My dad picked me up, but
once?
Yeah, but you're not actually supposed to avoid.
Right.
So like in the moment, obviously it sucks not to be able to be picked up from school, but
so this time you're talking about where it got in the way where you were upstate, was that more of an anxious thought or more of just a panic attack? More panic attack, right?
Yeah, it was like half and half.
But it can, there are other factors you're saying, right? The heat, the sounds. Okay. Yeah. So where are you now regarding your anxiety? The same level? Has it got better, worse?
I mean, I'm not having panic attacks anymore, thank God. Like I used to have like a panic disorder where I would just have panic attacks.
Yeah, like ninth grade was the worst it was, right?
So I've gotten so much better. Like really because of like my therapist, my school, like I've learned how to like talk to myself and like to calm myself down and to like overcome my fears that have come in my way.
Yeah, so Rachel has really come a long way. So now we're gonna get into the real part of the interview. So
all right. So how did you manage your anxiety and really not let it take over your life?
Right. So well at first it really did take over my life. Right. But I'm trying to think. In ninth grade, I go through phases of like my fears. So like in ninth grade, like the beginning was mostly just panic attacks. So my therapist told me that to not, like the whole point of anxiety is just to not avoid anything. Like even like with a panic attack, like I would dread it and try to stop it and anything. So what she would say is just like let it come and just let it pass, let it do its thing and like let it be over. Like it sucks, but it has to do it. So.
Yeah, I remember that where like there'd be, I'm pretty sure it's more than like once where you wouldn't go to school or stuff like that. Where
I mean I wouldn't want to, but then my mom would force me.
Right. I think there were a couple times where like you wouldn't go.
Okay.
Like you just said, your therapist would tell dad like no, like she has
Yeah.
to go. She has to
Yeah.
confront and show her that like
Yeah.
nothing's gonna happen to you when you go to school.
Yeah.
Like that's just showing how bad really Rachel's anxiety was specifically. Was that like she like it real like it was a day-to-day experience that she couldn't go to school.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level of how bad it was.
Yeah, and there was a phase where also like I sorry. There was a phase also where like when the Pittsburgh shooting happened, like I was really scared of like that stuff.
Right. And all like
Yeah.
right. So on that topic, do you have something that makes you like the most scared? Like I know you have a couple things, or you know what I mean by that question, or is it just like anxiety in general? Am I being clear by that?
Yeah, I mean
You
also like things have passed. So like if you would have asked me that a year ago, I would have said thunder and like stuff like that. But or even like a few months ago, I'd say throw up, like I have emetophobia. But even that has gotten a lot better.
yeah,
Like there
it's
was
gotten
shootings at the
right. It's
time.
gotten better, but it's still present.
Yeah, but not as bad.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that like it's probably one of the worst things is that you're well at like the direction of your therapist, but that you had to confront it, that you had to just like wait it out kind of, or let it like kind of hit
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's what's like that's specifically about me. Like I need to like be in control. And the thing about panic attacks is like you
Right.
don't have control when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, how long it's going to be, like so that's one of the things that's so hard, especially like for people with panic attacks, is that like they don't have control over it. So they just have to like sit back and be like, "Okay, like go ahead." And like it's so hard.
So, what changes are needed for society regarding anxiety? Like, what needs to change in family life or work and work to help teens to be mentally healthier and mentally fit?
Um that's a really hard question because the truth is it's really just different for everyone.
Right.
I don't think that like I think honestly people are doing as much as they can. Like I think the only thing that helps that could actually like I don't know, like I don't know honestly. Like I think people telling their stories really helps cuz like it helps you not feel alone. Like that wasn't an issue for me. Like I knew like I didn't care if I was alone or
Right.
not, but a lot of people it helps like to be like, "Oh, like other people have this too," or like I'm not the only one, or like yeah, like I don't know, having school programs about it or people tell their stories. I don't think they have enough of that. I think also just people need to normalize like I totally like I call my friends, I'm like, oh, like I'm calling my therapist, like I'll call you later, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's I think I agree with you. I think that's a really good point. Is like normalizing it and being a little more open about it.
Yeah. Like having a therapist does not mean there's anything wrong with you. I'm a strong believer that every single person in this world needs a therapist. Literally every single person. Like I have medication, like I whatever. So I think schools and like teachers and adults and everything they should make it more clear and like more just
Normal.
yeah, normalize. Like it's okay. Like it's okay, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, who would you say has played the biggest role in helping you overcome anxiety?
My
You
therapist.
could give a few people.
Okay, my therapist for sure. My parents, they've just been so like accepting and just like
Yeah.
we'll give you what you need, like we want to help you.
Yeah, that
and,
that last point I think is a good one. Like they've been from you would know better from what I've seen those like on the ball. I think
Yeah.
is important for a lot of parents. Like, oh, it's a phase. It's not real. It's not. I think that's a very important thing. Is like they're very on the ball about it. They got a therapist. They got a. They take care of it. Is what
yeah,
I'm trying
and my
to say.
school definitely has really helped me. Like they were very
Understanding.
once we told them what was going on, they were not like chill, but they were just like they understood like if I needed to miss a class because like I'm really anxious, like they're like, okay, it's fine. So like that like took a lot of pressure off.
Right.
Which was good.
So is there someone close to you who's going through the same thing and has helped you overcome anxiety just by being side by side with you and experiencing the same thing?
I mean, no one really has experienced the same exact thing. Like my mom definitely like has anxiety. It doesn't
Any
really
friends?
No, none of my friends do. It doesn't really like help me to
That's
know that
interesting.
like my mom has anxiety because it's not the same fears. Like what helps me most is just like I want someone to like be there for me and like know what to say in the moment.
What challenges do you face on a day-to-day basis, or did you face on a day-to-day basis with regards to anxiety?
Well, I don't face it daily like anymore, thank God, which is really good. But I used to, like, it was different things all the time. In the beginning of ninth grade, it was, am I going to have a panic attack? I'm scared I'm going to have a panic attack. I don't want to go to school because that's where I had a panic attack.
Right.
Or it was like, someone threw up. What if I throw up? Oh, I'm touching something. Or it was like, oh, I'm going on a walk with my friends. Like, what if there's clouds? I have to check the weather, like, whatever.
Right. Clouds is a big one. Sometimes
Yeah.
you wouldn't go to a friend like on a Sunday or whatever
Yeah.
because it was cloudy or something.
Yeah. So, like, so that was the daily things that I would have
Right.
to deal with.
Right. So one last question we have is really, what would you say to teens who suffer from anxiety, and what do you want them to know?
I would say that like it's okay to ask for help and to get what you need and to like really be able to look out for yourself and to definitely be accepting of yourself. Like I, for the longest time, I was so mad at myself. I was like, why? Because at least for me, I'm such a logical person. So I would look at a gray cloud and I'd be like, I know this isn't dangerous for me, or I know thunder is just a noise. So like, why am I scared of it? And I'd be so mad at myself, so mad at myself. I'm like, you're so stupid. Like my brain is so dumb. But then once I started to realize, like, just accept it and just be like, okay, this is me. Like, I can't change it. So,
Right. Like even now.
yeah, like I don't have a choice. So it's a lot easier for me to just say, like, okay, we'll do this. We'll get through
You
it.
get the help you need.
Yeah, it'll be fine. And it really, really does make a difference to just accept yourself. Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done.
Right.
But, yeah.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for coming on to our podcast. That is the end of the episode, everybody. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. Follow us on Instagram at The Younger Half. Check us out on your favorite podcasting platforms. Subscribe to us on YouTube at The Younger Half. And if you want to help us grow, consider supporting us by committing to a monthly donation at anchor.fm/TheYoungerHalf/support or press the link in the description. For questions or comments, email us at TheYoungerHalf@gmail.com. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe.